So today on Marketing on Rye, we are bringing you the industry's best over the lunch hour. Today, we have my good friend and client, Chad Zenner, who is the Vice President of Marketing at CompSource Mutual Insurance. How are you, Chad?
I'm great. How are you, Marianne?
I am great too. Thank you for asking. Thanks for being on this show with us today. As you think about marketing in the insurance sector, how critical is creativity in creating brand awareness for companies in the insurance and financial sector? You know, for example, from an insurance standpoint, sometimes insurance can be seen as very conservative. So could you talk a little bit about how you break through, how you come to life, how you connect?
Yeah, sure. I think that's a really great question. And I would say, simply put, it's incredibly significant, particularly as insurance products become more commoditized. It's important for businesses to distinguish themselves from the numerous choices consumers now have. So when I think about, creative campaign themes, creative images, and creative messaging, those all make viewers more likely to pay attention to and remember and develop affection for your brand. And this all results in budget efficiency and an outsized effect in your market. In addition, I look at creative ads as the ability to increase a viewer's motivation, to dwell on and to understand your ad and your organization. And so the what I call the entertainment or informative value they derive from your ad improves their attitude toward both the ad and your brand. And as we know, improving the attitude towards your brand results in revenue gains over time.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So, so some of the other insurers that I've thought, that I think about have done that maybe like Aflac or Progressive.
Sure.
Can you comment on that? Just how maybe as a marketer that came across at first, but how it really does work with that kind of attention grabbing side of and entertaining side, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, people have such a short attention span and time frames today. So when they see something that is memorable or unique or creative in some capacity, it can actually, spill into the viral world, right? That's really one of the goals that you have from a creative perspective, particularly for the larger brands who are really focused on, brand awareness and really driving consideration of their brand. The more they can do to break through the clutter and the noise of looking like everybody else, in my opinion, that creativity helps to drive a differentiation between themselves and their competitors. And so, I think of the commercials right now where we're talking about, growing up and trying to not be your parent. And see, even I'm forgetting the name of the brand, but I remember the commercial, and it has made an impact on conversations I have with families and friends because they, hey, remember that ad? What's going on with it? I will tell you, the more often you see those things, the better your affinity is for that brand, and you think it's cool and it's unique, and it has kind of a positive impact, I believe, on your purchasing decision later on, even subconsciously, because as at some point, if I sit down with an insurance agent and they bring up said name of insurance carrier, and I remember those ads and I liked them, I am inevitably going to like that carrier and that choice as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think it's progressive. I think it is.
There you go.
So like from a customer journey standpoint, we have to drive brand awareness, to drive brand consideration, to engagement and delight. How do you, within your career and at CompSource Mutual, how do you ensure your message revolves around your customers and not your company or the products? So for example, some brands in the sector talk about their products and services kind of in a knee-jerk way instead of really understanding what's driving consideration for the customer. How do you guys handle that? And any insight you have on?
Yeah, I love this question. And when I saw this question come across, I thought, wow, how perfectly timed that is for what my organization is going through. So this is actually a primary focus for my team today. Our legacy messaging approach was simply to talk about us, our products, our service, our commitment to customers. It's what I've labeled brand generic. It really had no way of differentiating us from any competitor in the marketplace. It was quite honestly the same old dribble that you would hear from any other company, regardless of being in the insurance sector. And it did not do a good job of really highlighting the strengths and benefit of our organization. And one of our strengths and benefit is our service and our commitment to customers. So why don't we talk about that versus talking about ourselves? And so I asked my team, well, how do we fix it? And there's really two words that came to mind. One is intention and the other is empathy. And so our team is in the process of creating new collateral material focused on specific industry verticals. They are intentional in creatively writing messages that are specific to the challenges business owners are faced in their respective industries. Each message is carefully crafted to display empathy with the demands and expectations that our customers experience. And by doing so, it highlights our understanding of their challenges and why we are the right carrier to provide their coverage, because we understand what they're faced with on a day-to-day basis. So the story has completely pivoted and switched from being, focused on us to being focused on themselves and their issues and their burdens. And the more we can, communicate about how we understand what those challenges are and that we have a solution for them, the better that appeal will be between the prospective customer and ourselves.
I could not agree more. I know we're like-minded on that, but bravo. That's, from my perspective, the 90s was all about kind of the product. And this generation is all about what's in it for them. So we have to know what they want, what our customers want, and then figure out how to fit into their ecosystem and not force.
Yeah, so, I totally agree, Marianne. And I would add to that we're becoming less product focused in our messaging and much more experience focused, and talking about what's different about working with CompSource Mutual in a way that benefits you, the business owner, right? We want to make it easier for you to submit a payroll report or to pay your bill or whatever that function is you need. We want to create simple, elegant experiences for you, which to me, an experience has become a product. That's part of what we sell, not just, the work comp insurance from our organization, but an experience that allows you to get done with your day that's been long and hard and challenging. Now you got to go submit a payroll report. Let's make that as easy as possible. You are going to walk away from that experience going, that was so much easier than my previous carrier. I'm going nowhere. I might even pay more for this because it's so beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, Chad, you touch on sort of the bane of my existence, if you will, but and yours, I think, but that today your brand isn't what you say, it's what you do. And your brand really is your experience. So aligning kind of your brand to your experience takes a lot of work. I know you've done it before in the form of a rebrand. Can you talk a little bit about, a time when you had to, use some courage to really help drive the results that the organization needed, and using the brand as sort of that catalyst to inspire change?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. And I would kind of respond this way. And it's been my experience that, when you're going through a brand transformation, that, modifying the visual identity of an organization, unless it's a world-class brand, is not the most challenging aspect. I found more anxiety in identifying the story and the messaging that accompanied that new brand. Employees, partners, alumni, they only know the organization as it was, not as it's going to be. They may not have awareness or understanding of the strategic direction of the organization to which the new brand is aligned. So when you're modifying that story, a new tone, a new voice or expression, that can actually be more jarring than a visual identity. And the way a brand sounds is just as important as it looks. So changing the story or updating it requires courage and conviction. It also requires careful research, planning, and execution so that all stakeholders understand the why. Particularly when you're talking about your employees, partners, alumni, and your customers, they need to understand why you're doing that. After all, you want brand champions and advocates. And if this is done well, it can not only be a boost to your marketing efforts, but it can also positively influence the culture of an organization. And I think it takes a lot of courage for an executive team, a marketing team, for your agency partners that you work with to really step forward with a new story, an updated version of that to bring to the marketplace. As again, some things from a visual identity perspective can be somewhat challenging, but I don't find that to be nearly as difficult as the messaging around telling the story of who you are and what you mean and what your purpose is.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I mean, I have personally seen you do that, and you are an expert at it, and I know that you are very busy. I know you've given me a lot of great insight and time today. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And I could spend an hour talking about this with you, but I do want to respect your time. I really appreciate the time today, and hope you'll come back and talk with us again.
Absolutely, more than happy to do that. Thanks, Marianne.
Thank you, Chad. Chad Zenner from CompSource Mutual Insurance, the Vice President of Marketing. Thank you.
Thank you.